So welcome to our second video on talking to kids about genetic kidney disease. Here we will be discussing preparing to talk to kids about genetic kidney disease. So Ella, how do families decide on the best time to talk to kids about genetic kidney disease?
Again, I think this is something that's individual, not just to the family, but to the child. There's no prescribed age or time. There's no perfect or recommended option here. I think it's about individualizing based on the child's age and their developmental stage, and really your knowledge and understanding of your own child, and keeping in mind that if you have more than one child, that they might have different needs even within the family. And I think also when you're thinking about this in terms of the actual timing of how to have these conversations, it's important to think about it not as one single formal conversation, but as something that is woven through conversations within the family. And often, I think that these sorts of things are can be done in a really nice way that's a bit less formal. So maybe when you are taking a walk with a child, or driving, or doing some sort of shared activity, that can be an opportunity for this to come up. Or if it comes up naturally through reading a book together or seeing something on the television, that can be a prompt or something that sparks a small part of the conversation.
Absolutely. So you talked about this being an ongoing conversation, and I just wanted to take your words on that and expand as to why do you think that's important?
Well, I think that just like all of us kids, if they hear a new piece of information, it can take time to process that if it's something that's unfamiliar to them. And I think also because kids are always growing and developing, so their needs, their information needs, and their understanding will change with time. So, often kids will ask a question, and if you answer it, they'll go away and think about it for a little while, and then they might come back with another question. So just having that awareness that, that it's not a one-off, it's something that they might want you to repeat information more than once, or that they'll want to add on to what you've said over time as well.
Absolutely. So from your experience, Ella, what do children already know about genetics and inheritance?
Yeah, well, like I said, kids are pretty cluey. And so from a pretty young age, they start to notice, things that are the same or different about people, and will start to understand that some things are shared within families, and that might be, that we've all got blue eyes, or we're all tall, or something like that. But I think also from a young age, kids tend to think quite concretely and with immediacy. So think about the present moment rather than thinking forward into the future. So it's something that I think, as they go through primary school years, often children start to understand a little bit more.
In families preparing to talk to their kids, what information should they be giving their kids about genetic kidney disease?
Well, I think, again, it's really great to be guided by the child, because they will tell you either overtly or in the way that they behave and respond to what you say, how much information they want and what they're ready for. So following their cues, I think, is really important. I think it's important to give the condition in the family a name, or to have a way of talking about it in the family that's consistent. And I think it can also be really helpful to think about what are the positive aspects about knowing about this in the family. And often thinking about those things can help give kids a sense of control over the health issue that they have or that they see in other family members. And those might be things like knowing about this gives us a chance to prevent problems or to treat something early. And those sorts of things can be really important for adapting and coping with the information.
And Ella, do you have any tips about how to talk to kids about genetic kidney diseases?
Yeah, well, again, I think, this comes down to parents being the expert in their own children and how they like to communicate. But I think, as I said just before, answering the questions that they ask and trying to avoid giving really long explanations for things, sort of breaking things down and providing the information gradually and in short bursts is important. And I also think it's really important to use age-appropriate language. So obviously very young children will talk about their bodies and how they're feeling in a really different way to older children. So, being natural and authentic in the way that you would normally talk to your children about other things applies here too. And I think also just having that really open, you can ask me any of this anytime, dialogue with kids so that they feel safe to come to you when something else occurs to them or they think of another question about this.
That's really important. Well, thank you, Ella. That brings this section to a close. Please join us for our next section about working with adolescents in decision-making for genetic testing.